I'm so excited. I feel like a little nervous. I don't know why, but no, I am the host. I am not nervous. I'm here. I'm a professional. No, I'm not. Well, I once was. Anyway, Nicole, welcome. Tell us a little bit of your background. Who are you? And tell us about the chickens too. Make sure you put them in there. Or the duck.
Okay, the ducks, yes. I'm Nicole Porter. I own Monomoy Social Media. I've been doing this for almost 5 years. I got my degree in marketing way back when, Mark Zuckerberg was still building Facebook in his dorm room, and was a chocolatier for about 10 years before going into this business. And I live on the Cape with my 3 sons. We have 2 rescue dogs. We have 3 college-age baseball players living with us this summer, and we have 6 female ducks living in my backyard, which will hopefully lay eggs at some point this fall.
Wow, what a very well-rounded person you are. Ducks, children, chocolate, and social media. I love it. I love it. So let's talk about your business, Monomoy Social Media. First of all, my first question is, where does the name come from? And then what kind of expertise do you bring in that arena?
So the name is comes from my local area down here. It's Monomoy Wildlife Refuges down here in the Cape and in Chatham, and pretty much everything in my particular area. What is named that, like our school system is Monomoy Regional School District, and I started thinking I was going to be a very local business, and then my first client was in Canada, and my second client was in Texas, and now we're international. So what we do is we provide mostly full service organic social media services for people. So we take over their social and do it all for them. We also do some social media ads, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. And I also have a membership program where I help people do their own social media, where we get them content and coaching. So that's the bread and butter of my business and what we do.
Thank you. So I have this other question for you. There's, 12,000 different ways one can go about social media, philosophy, if you will. I mean, what is your viewpoint on social media? Is it like the more the merrier? Should you be laser focused? I mean, how do you think it can be used to do good in the world, especially as a business owner?
I'm a big fan of focus. I am a really big fan of showing up where your customers are showing up and really connecting with them and making authentic connections. I think that's the biggest power of social media that people don't take advantage of, is really you're making connections with your consumers in real time. And no other form of media can do that. And so if I find a lot of people I talk to, they're either just starting out, they're a smaller business, and if they think they have to be everywhere, they're most likely going to be showing up nowhere. And so I'm a really big fan of focusing on 1 or 2 platforms and really putting all your efforts in where your customers are.
So I'm a relationship marketing strategist, and it sounds like you're a relationship marketing strategist, right? And for folks who are not familiar with that term, it's not about finding the love of your life, but rather how to use different things to build long-term relationships with your customers and clients. So can you drill down a little deeply, give us an example of how you advise your clients to use social media to build a relationship with their customers?
Yeah, I actually tell them to, first of all, I tell them to put it in their schedule. So make sure you're blocking off time, making it important. And then making sure that you have certain people or businesses that you are going to touch base with every single week. So you're really staying top of mind with them and creating an authentic relationship. And what I mean when I say touch base is comment on one of their posts or send them a direct message just checking in. And don't just go and say nice post. Give them some real, genuine, authentic feedback on whatever it is they're posting, and really try to make that a conversation and build that connection further.
How do you feel about algorithms?
They're frustrating. It's like a dirty word. That's what a lot of people say. They're frustrating. They're frustrating because you don't always know the rules. And I think that's why people get so frustrated with them, because these various platforms don't always tell us what the algorithm is and how to work with it. So it's a lot of testing and tweaking. But I think it really comes down to, if you're putting out authentic content and you're genuinely interacting with people, you don't have to worry about the algorithms quite as much. You can, tweak things here and there and follow the rules as best we can. But if you're truly using the platforms for what they're built for, which is to interact with each other, then you don't have to worry about the dirty word of the algorithm quite so much.
Right on, sister. High five. High five.
I love that.
There we go. All right. So how and why is social media important for small business owners like us? I mean, there's a number of ways any kind of enterprise can go about it, but when you put on the lens of the small business owner, why is it important to us to be there? Because, I hear, and I get it, I sometimes have a love-hate relationship when it comes to social media. Don't even get me started about TikTok, okay? Anyway, oh my God, I'm so afraid of TikTok. But there is a benefit and a value to use the tool as a small business owner. In your opinion and your expert advice perspective, why is it important to small businesses?
There's a few reasons I feel that it's important. One is it's accessible. Right? It's free. It has a low barrier to entry. So you don't have to have a ton of money to interact in the space. And that's a big one. You can play and be small at the same time. You don't have to have, Coca-Cola and Pepsi level resources to be in that space. So that's a big one. The other one is what I mentioned before, where it offers what other forms of media don't offer, and you can interact in real time with your customers, and you can't do that anywhere else. And I think the third thing is that it enables us to put out a form of content that people really enjoy and they really like. And that's that authentic kind of behind the scenes, behind the curtain type of content. And you're really not doing that with other forms of media as well. And that piece alone can really help your potential customers or customers feel so much more connected with you and your business when they get that, voyeuristic type look almost behind the curtain.
Oh my gosh, such great stuff. Thank you. We are so lucky that you're here. Oh my God, you're telling us all this great stuff. All right, we're running out of time. Good golly, Miss Molly. So I'm going to
my goodness,
more of these questions in. What trends do you see coming up in social media?
So the two biggest things I see right now is that authenticity piece that I just talked about. Like, people do not want that polished content anymore. They don't want to see it. They can see it everywhere else. They really want to see the real people behind the business. Like, they do not want polished videos, whatever, anything else, graphics, which, they have their place and we do them, but they really want authentic content. So the more real you can be, the better, it's a struggle for most of us to show up that way. But if you can, it will do you and your business a lot of favors. And the second thing is short form video content. TikTok, yes, Denise, TikTok, Reels, and any type of short form video content. It's so easily scrollable. It's so easily digestible. You can really just lose yourself down the rabbit hole of short form video, but it's effective. It's incredibly effective for reaching people. So that is the second one. So those two pieces are real big coming up.
Okay, we're going to have to wrap up. If you have any questions, anyone, please drop that question mark in the chat. If not, if no one has questions, I might be able to squeeze in a few more questions myself. So I just wanted to give everyone an opportunity. If you had questions, just put a question mark in there, and then we can bring it to Nicole. All right, so how do you think social media intersects, if you will, with a small business's other marketing activities?
So I think that social media should be a tool in your toolbox. I say that often. It's not a magic bullet. It's not the only thing out there, but it is an important tool in your toolbox. And I think a lot of people feel that they can't repurpose other forms of content on social media. And I really encourage that. If you're sending out an email newsletter or you have a blog and you can repurpose that and break it down on social media to be a little more easily digestible, I think that is really a smart way to go, because not only do people need reminders, but the same people aren't likely to see all of the places that you're showing up. That's why it's important to show up in different places. So I think repurposing is big, and using social media as a tool in your toolbox instead of your only marketing tool is really important. It should intersect with your email list, with your website, with your blog. And those things are important because you don't own your social media. And that's a big one. You don't own your social media. You own your website, you own your email list. So using it to guide people to those places, those proprietary places, is a big deal.
Right on. I knew, Serafina introduced me to this lady, and it was instant connection. And it's obvious. I mean, you're so smart.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Don't ask me about gardening.
Okay.
It's just about social media, and the ducks are still alive. So I guess that's okay. But
so Michael has a question. How do you find out where your potential customers are so you can target them?
So what I generally go by is your demographics about who you're trying to target and also what you're putting out. So for instance, if you have an older audience, or even your demographic areas, for instance, Cape Cod, they're on Facebook, right? That's where those people are hanging out. If you're looking for a professional audience, you're really going to want to spend time on LinkedIn. If you have a younger audience between maybe college age to, I think Instagram's now in the 50s, maybe like early 50s, that Instagram's going to be your place. And if I'm talking to a nonprofit, I recommend Twitter by far. Like, it is the best place for nonprofits to show up. Twitter has a very passionate audience. So I think that's why they do so well there, because like celebrities and weather and sports and news, it's all on Twitter, right? So it's an intersection of like, where are your people? What age are your people? What are you putting out? What type of content are you putting out and you're offering them? So you have to look at all of those things together and then look at your platforms and say, okay, this one offers this one offers this. Which one's going to be the best one for me to show up on?
Okay, great. That's a great list. Let's see. Rhonda has a question. What is the timeline you recommend that we should wait to repost a successful past post?
I would wait about 3 months. 3 months is my general rule of thumb. Don't repeat within 3 months, but like once a quarter is okay.
That's so interesting. I wouldn't even think to repost a popular post, but why the heck not if it got a lot of traction? Look at that.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to go back and look at this video because OMG, there's so much great stuff in there. Tracy offered a comment. My experience so far is that showing my face on LinkedIn, for example, gets far greater views than anything else I've posted. Goes to the authenticity, I believe, is what she said. So yes, I think I'm on LinkedIn primarily myself, professionally. And yeah, building that authority, brand awareness about who you are and what you're sharing is part of that. But I think there is more of a direct conduit on that, I think, in some regards than the other channels. I don't know. That's my opinion. But I am curious to know what you think one of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to social media, because I have one that is a sort of a little bugger for me. What do you think?
Man, I have two. Can I say two?
And
do we have time for two? One is that it's a magic bullet that you're going to go out and you're going to go viral. And that's not going to happen right away for most people. It takes consistent effort over time to really see results from social media. So that's one, is that people think it's like magic, and it's not magic. It takes strategy and it takes consistency. The other biggest misconception I see is that people think they're going to put content out and it's just going to work for them. And these platforms are made for interaction. They are made so that you're social on these platforms, and very few people take advantage of that. And I think a lot of people would see better results with their efforts if they took some time each week and talked to each other.
Yeah, and I totally can agree with you on that. And related to it, my pet peeve is that many folks said, "Oh, I launched a Facebook page. Why don't I have 20 new customers this week?" And social media is not a sales tool per se, though you can use some of its things with ads and so forth as sales tools. But the main premise of it, right? I don't know. Do you agree? It's not a sales device. It is a marketing and brand awareness device, right?
I 100% agree with that.
Okay.
Now, if somebody is interested in you, they're most likely going to Google you. They want to see that you have an active platform. They're going to want to see that you are, who you are. They're going to be voyeuristic. They're going to look through all the stuff you've posted, and they want to learn about you. And that's a great way for them to do it. But nobody's going to flock there the week after you open your Facebook page and, buy everything. It's very rare that happens.
We have one final question and then we'll wrap it up. Tracy asks, how do you interact when there's no one to interact with?
You have to go find the people to interact with. So what I recommend doing is somebody that's a complementary business. So for you, Tracy, I'd go out and interact with like CPAs and stuff. For me, I'll go out and interact with other marketers. I'll go comment on Serafina or Rhonda or Michael's posts because we all have very similar target markets, but we don't do the same thing. So going out and actually finding the people and connecting with them, and that will help you stay top of mind.
And I'd like to add to that, I do a thing called amplification, which anyone who knows me knows what that is about, but reaching into your immediate circle. And when you have some content to share, want to push out, you can sort of jumpstart it, if you will, by reaching out to those folks in your network, a core group, to see if they will share out and comment and and tag and all that kind of stuff on that content. So what is the best way for folks to stay in touch with you, Nicole?
So professionally, I show up on LinkedIn a lot. That is my favorite professional network that I use for my business. And if you would like to see things with ducks and dogs and kids and baseball players, connect with me on Facebook. That's where I post most of my personal stuff.
Great. And you will put that in the chat.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Nicole.
Hey, I'm so excited to do this. Thank you so much, Denise, for having me.
Okay, everyone, you can put your cameras back on.